Hello, everyone. This is Doug Davis, broker in charge at Karanbi Realty, and here with another Ask Doug. And I have Julie of our office here today, and we'd like you to like and subscribe to our channel if all goes well. And today we wanted to talk about escrow escrow failures. Why would an escrow fail? There's so much energy that goes into getting the listing there, negotiating the contract, getting into escrow for both the buyer and the seller. And then why in the world would it fail? So I have noted over my career that the majority of escrow fails is the buyer's agent, not the buyer, not a structural problem, but an emotional buyer's agent. Sorry to say, but that's true. And I've seen Title Guarantee do a study many years ago where they looked into it because it's a big deal for them, where they have greater than 10% escrow failure, might even be greater now. And because it's the buyer agent that did the failure. So Julie does a lot of our escrow timelines and adheres the dates and deadlines. And we wanted to have her talk about her experience and why this would happen. So Julie came up with two things that she experiences from escrow. And let's get it firsthand and see what she has.
Sure. I mean, I would say first and foremost, it's sticking to the contract. I mean, we have there's many contingencies, there's many deadlines within an escrow, and you have to meet those or your buyer's deposit could be in jeopardy. So for example, if you're in the middle of your inspection period and you're in the middle of negotiating, but that deadline is coming up, and it could even be that day. If you can tell that it's not going to be resolved within that day, you need to extend that. Otherwise, if it doesn't get extended, it could technically be deemed approved, and then you're past that contingency and then on to the next contingency, same thing.
Which is critical for a buyer, because if they don't intend on approving and the agent doesn't help them adhere to the contract and they let a deadline pass, it's too late. The contract says it's deemed approved in many circumstances and paragraphs. So I call this getting on the railroad. I like the analogy of an escrow being on the railroad, and you do what the contract says. Buyer and seller have agreed to all of these different things, and you stick to the contract. In my experience, the problems that come up are from agents that don't adhere to the contract, what's been agreed to. It's already done. Just read the contract and do what the contract says. Very simple. Be on the railroad. Don't go off the tracks, off the rails, gets you in trouble. Exactly. So, okay, so that's what I would call keeping to the contract, what Julie has described. Any other aspect of that?
Well, like I was saying, you can get your buyers, it can get your buyer in trouble with, they say they're like, oh, we do want to cancel. The seller can say, no, you're past that. And if you do cancel, we're keeping your deposit. So then that comes into a whole other issue, because it essentially just stays in escrow till there can be an agreement made. The second thing is getting, like Doug was saying, a lot of times the buyer's agent getting emotional. So for a buyer, this is a big purchase. For the seller, it's a big transaction. So it's understandable they're going to, have a little emotion involved. But us as real estate agents, part of our job is almost like therapist a bit, and just kind of keep them kind of on track, on the railroad track. And just kind of make them understand what's going on with the situation, pretty matter of factly. And so there is no emotion. So when the agent gets emotional, it kind of can derail a little bit too. Because I always like to think, you know, we're working for our clients, of course, but we're also all on the same team. We all have the same goal. And that's to make both clients happy, make the transaction close, and that's the ultimate goal.
So these are escrow problems that we see: keeping to the contract, not following the contract, not saying what buyer, or not adhering to what buyer and seller have agreed to, running off the tracks, not knowing what the contract says. Maybe they've never even read the contract, so they don't know. So they go off on these tangents, and that's what causes the problems. And as far as being emotional, that's I mean, it's our duty to adhere to our contract deadlines and to keep the buyer or seller out of trouble. So it behooves the agents, either side, to make sure that the dates and deadlines are adhered to. I mean, that's what the escrow is all about anyway, is having, how many things are there, would you say?
Well, it's a now 15, I think, 15 page contract. I would.
How many timelines?
Contingencies.
Yeah.
Probably 4 to 5. Like,
Well, there'd be more.
probably more.
I'd say there'd be more like 15 different
Oh, yeah.
thresholds. I
No,
mean,
you're right, you're
getting the
actually,
earnest money,
Yep.
making sure that it clears the bank, and
Yeah.
the loan, and there's 3 things for the loan. And then all the anything special,
right,
inspections, J1,
right.
all of
Those
these
are the big
things.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, all the big ones. So there you go. Anyway, kind of a real heart to heart on what happens behind the scenes that probably buyers and sellers don't know about, but that's what we deal with. Have this joy of trying to keep it on the railroad tracks and get those extensions when needed.
Because it is, yes, it is a slightly extra paperwork, but it's worth it in the end if you're going to keep the buyer or seller out of any sort of trouble.
Well, as a broker in charge, it's essential.
That too, yes.
It has to happen. So, okay, so if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any buying or selling needs or property management, estate management, love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe and like. And till next week, thanks so much.